Unfortunately, I'm 1,000 miles from Philadelphia, so I wasn't able to partake of one of Skinny Joey's cheesesteaks. However, in remembrance of Benny Eggs Mangano and Johnny Sausage Bravado, I do have this nice breakfast sandwich from Chick-fil-A. Anyway, I digress. The man once known as the sharp-dressed face of the Philly underworld is now slinging cheesesteaks in the heart of South Philly. And guess what? He's doing numbers. Over 2,000 sold on opening day. Lines wrapped around the block. But this isn't just a story about food. This is about a man flipping the script on his entire life. Joey Merlino, once the boss of the bosses in Philly, is now a social media star, restaurant owner, and maybe, just maybe, a legit businessman. Or is he? What's up, everybody? James Proctor here. Welcome back to Real Mob Stories. Today, we're diving into one of the most fascinating transitions we've seen in this world. Skinny Joey Merlino, the former Philly crime boss, is no longer ducking indictments. He's building a brand. He's got a YouTube channel, a growing Patreon, and now a brand new restaurant called Skinny Joey's Cheesesteaks that just opened its doors on March 29th with a bang. But not everybody loves the spotlight. Word on the street is that some heavy hitters in New York weren't too happy about Merlino's public profile, and rumor has it he might have been shelved for it. Today we're unpacking it all. Cheesesteaks, controversy, comebacks, and asking, is Joey Merlino finally going straight? Or just playing a smarter game? So here's the scene. Saturday, March 29th, 2025, South Philly. People are lining up around the corner before the doors even open. Cameras are out, phones are up, and Joey Merlino, the man who once ruled the Philly streets, is now running a hot griddle instead of a crew. Skinny Joey's Cheesesteaks officially opened at 11 a.m., and by the end of the day, over 2,000 cheesesteaks were sold. And that's not just hype. That's a home run on day one. You can say what you want about Merlino, but he knows how to draw a crowd. And this wasn't just about people wanting to try a new sandwich. It was about the name. It was about the legend, and in Philly, that name still means something big. So now let's rewind the clock for a second. While the place was still under construction last year, someone tossed a Molotov cocktail at it. A real amateur kind of job. No real damage, no message left behind, just some fire and broken glass. But the idea was to scare Joey off? Well, it didn't work, not even close. That's the thing about Merlino. He's always had this defiant, charismatic energy. You can love him, hate him, question his past, but he doesn't flinch. He leaned into the heat literally and turned this cheesesteak joint into a statement. This isn't just a restaurant, it's a symbol. A flag planted right in the heart of his old neighborhood saying, I'm still here, I'm still standing, and now I'm serving steak with onions. Now let's talk about the other half of the hustle, and that's the digital game. Because Skinny Joey didn't just reemerge with a cheesesteak joint. He showed up with a camera crew, a Patreon, and a YouTube channel with a growing following. Yeah, you heard that right. Joey Merlino, once public enemy #1 to the feds, is now showing up in the algorithm recommendations. But here's the kicker. He's not saying anything that would get him jammed up. There's no testimony, no confessions, no details that make a prosecutor salivate. What he's doing, he's going after lying informants, telling light, sanitized stories from his past, sharing sports betting picks with a little personality and a lot of Philly charm, and dropping roadshow clips where he's out meeting people, talking life, and having some laughs. But let's not kid ourselves. This kind of visibility hasn't gone unnoticed, and there's been criticism from the old school, if we're to believe this. Guys who believe that once you're part of that life, you stay in the shadows. You don't hit record, you don't post clips, you disappear. But Joey's not playing by the old rules anymore. This isn't 1995. This is 2025. In this world, content is currency. And he's not just building a business, he's building a brand. And the real genius, he's doing it without giving up anything. Now, with Joey Merlino back in the public eye the last couple of years, he's dropping content, opening restaurants, taking selfies with fans, And you had to know the rumors were coming, and they did, very loud. Word on the street, New York wasn't too happy. Not about the cheesesteaks, but about the attention. And allegedly, keyword allegedly, some of the higher-ups last year in New York weren't thrilled with Joey's media presence, the road shows, the interviews, the personality-driven content. It's not exactly the old-school way. And then we heard the whispers that said that Joey got shelved. And now for those who don't know, getting shelved in mob terms means that you're basically benched. You're not active. You're not part of the business anymore. And most importantly, no one is supposed to talk to you that's in that life. But we don't know if it's true. In fact, I don't think it is true. But it fits a pattern we've seen before. A high-profile guy makes too much noise and the old guard pulls the plug. But here's the twist. That might be exactly what Joey wanted. And let's be honest. Why go back into a world where one slip gets you 20 years when you can build a restaurant empire, collect Patreon checks, and still have people line up to take a picture with you? Joey Merlino knows what time it is. This is a new era, and he's playing by a new set of rules. Whether he got shelved or stepped away on his own, either way, he's doing something most guys from that world don't. He's surviving, and he's doing it out in the open. Despite everything, the indictments, the headlines, the prison time, the rumors, one thing hasn't changed. South Philly still loves Joey Merlino. To them, he's not just a name from the newspapers. He's a neighborhood guy, a fixture, someone they've watched rise up, take the hits, and keep coming back. There's always been this Robin Hood vibe around Joey Merlino. He was known to take care of people, especially around the holidays. And now, here he is years later, walking the same blocks, opening a business in his own backyard, shaking hands like a politician, but still carrying that street swagger. And people respect that. They remember who showed up when the lights were off and the rent was due. And now this cheesesteak spot. It's not just about food. It's about identity, and it's a piece of Philly, a place where old stories live, new ones are made, and folks from the neighborhood can say, yeah, I know Joey. I got my sandwich for him just the other day. He's not hiding. He's not running. He's standing right there talking to customers, cracking jokes, taking pics, and honestly, he seems at peace. Because whether or not he's still got ties, whether or not he's shelved, one thing's clear, Joey Merlino hasn't lost the neighborhood, and in Philly, that still counts for a lot. So here's the real question. Can a guy like Joey Merlino ever truly leave the life behind? Or has he just evolved with the times, trading the streets for social media, the back rooms for a griddle, and that old school core for modern day branding? And let's be honest, he's not doing the podcasts, confessionals like some of these other guys. He's not selling out the past. He's just showing up differently. So what do you think? Is this the comeback of a changed man or the smartest pivot we've seen in years? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I want to hear what you think. If you've enjoyed this story, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and tap the notification bell so you don't miss any of our deep dives into the real stories behind the names you think you know. As always, until next time, take care, stay safe, and God bless you always. And now I'm going to enjoy my breakfast.